Hello, everyone. I probably started talking before the music faded out.
And probably is crazy because you do because you're the one that fades the music.
I'm the one that fades it. Yeah. You know what? We just started talking. Niki and I recorded another podcast that we recorded earlier today, and they added so much bullshit to this platform recently.
A lot.
But they didn't. They didn't add. It's okay. Well, it's actually
It's
pretty
not good.
It's okay. It's not bad. But it could be better. But the one thing that they don't add is like a good way to fade music. It's basically like a binary, like you're on or you're off. Anyway, this is the VG's podcast, episode 40. I'm one of your hosts, John Warren. With me is my forever co-host, Niki Grayson. Hi, Niki.
I'm on the Holiday Inn website right now.
Your shirt matches the background of our podcast pretty well. What are you doing on the Holiday Inn website?
Booking a hotel.
For?
Going to Zion.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were a Zionist. That's interesting.
That's what it means. me and Neil, hand in hand.
Oh my God.
Saying that we're not going to make another Last of Us line out of straight out our assholes.
Sorry.
Going to the national park. That's what it means.
Our wonderful guest this week, you can see her bylines on PC Gamer, IGN, USA Today, RPG site. And you know what? You used to be able to see her byline on Fanbyte.com, but
what happened?
Who fucking knows if you can find any of those pieces anymore? It's Andrea Shearon. Hi.
Hello. So, some of the pieces are still there. I find random ones from time to time. So
yeah,
it's like a roulette.
I think you can only find I think like 2 of my pieces.
None of my, if you can believe it, none of my shit's still up there.
Interesting.
They nuked y'all.
They nuked it. Yeah. You know what? Niki and I were the most nukeable of the 2
of the publications.
There. Yeah. I think we were the most nukeable. Andrea and I are now neighbors, which is so strange. That's so cool and weird. And we recently took Natalie out drinking and tried to corrupt her even more than.
Did it work?
She's already corrupted. I think so.
Oh man, I think it did. Yeah, I got her to play Disco Elysium. We watched Arcane. It was a good time.
Wow.
We just need to put her.
You're ruining a clean soul, is what I'm doing. I found a guide they didn't take down.
Oh wait, okay, which one?
I want to be
how to use xCloud and Stadia on Chromecast with Google TV.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
I bet a lot of people are using that one. Even today. What do you think, Niki?
Stadia.
I can ask Dylan right now. How many people have read that
ask
article?
him.
Okay, I'll see.
Please. I'm gonna say
he's so tired of me asking him shit like this. I swear to God.
If he didn't like it, he wouldn't tell you. I'm gonna say 300.
Maybe it'll show concurrence, and there's 3 concurrent users, and it's all 3 of us. Why is it popping off right now?
It's really popping off. Dylan's about to message me. I don't know why this is popping off. This is so cool. Andrea, how do you like Texas so far? We never really talked about that. I'm curious.
I like a lot of the people.
Yeah, they're nice, right? Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm from Mississippi, so I feel like I know what it's like to deal already with the climate of yeah. So a lot of just trying to survive the government and make friends with a lot of really good people. The food is pretty good. I thought y'all would have more deep South food. You don't really.
Too far west.
I thought that was
no. There are a couple pretty good soul food places in Dallas proper and Oak Cliff. That's a drive for you. It's a drive for me. But you're right. It's not all over the place. You're right. Yeah.
I was so excited. I was like, it'll be way easier than LA to find really good Southern food. And it's
I don't think that's not really.
About that. Yeah.
And
it's about the same. Y'all don't have. I mean, I find some places have good turnip greens, and that's mostly what I need. But
no, that's good. I mean, I think LA is pretty good for everything except for Texas style barbecue, which we
almost that I think is true. Once. I think we can do anything here. You can pretty much do it. That.
But every time every time a barbecue place opens in LA, it's deeply sad.
Wait, but have you been to Bloodso's?
No.
Bloodso's? BLUDSO.
Okay.
I said blood zone. Hi, welcome to the blood zone.
Welcome to the blood zone. Bloodso's is pretty good. Now, to be very clear, I have not had a lot of Texas barbecue. I've had Texas barbecue a couple of times.
Right.
But and I just think that this barbecue is good. How authentic it is, I don't know. That ain't me.
No,
but it's yummy. We can go for SGF.
What?
Is it like really vinegary? You know, like
no, Texas is like it's mostly beef. Purists actually will not sauce it.
It's an unsauced meat. Vinegar is, I would assume, Carolinas. Is Carolinas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Carolinas Mississippi does not have good barbecue, but I like it here. So.
Yeah. I mean, I also like KC barbecue.
I fucking love KC Joe's. If I died tomorrow and they said you can eat anything, I'm going to KC Joe's and I'm kind of going fucking wild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Andrea, we got to go to Terry Black's. So maybe for my 40th.
Terry Black's.
I thought it was going to be at a laundromat.
Because it's washed. It's pretty good. Thanks. I could do that. We could start there. We could start there and then walk over to Terry Black's.
Yeah. Sounds good.
But
that's to wash. So yeah.
Yeah. Everyone can kind of double up, you know, just like I totally. Yeah. No, I think that's good. Do your laundry. Yell at John for how old he is. Let's go get barbecue.
And that's it. That sounds like a great night to me.
That's totally it. I don't know. Video games happened this week. Thank Christ it wasn't as busy as last week. God, we tried to pack in.
No, for sure. But gun to my head, couldn't tell you what happened yesterday or last week.
Last week. Okay, let me try to think.
Yesterday also.
Same. I blame that because I have no idea. I've been in a hole watching Arcane.
Yeah.
What did happen
for real?
Week? What did we? No,
who knows? It doesn't matter.
Every single time I record any podcast, I don't fucking remember any part of it.
I think Monolith was last week.
Yeah, we talked about that, and we talked. It doesn't fucking matter.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter. Hi, welcome to this week.
Lock in,
everyone. Naoki Yoshida is out of the Square-Enix board. That's right, Yoshi-P, the man that they've handed the keys to for basically all of Final Fantasy, has left the board. The report I said quietly, which is funny because if it was so quiet, no one would know that he left the board, but pretty much everyone figured that out. Square Enix is just naturally kind of moving the board from 8 seats to 4. And he also just doesn't want to be on the board because he wants to just make video games. At first, when I read this headline, I thought, ooh, Yoshi-P's in trouble or something, but it's no. It's not
a Yuji Naka.
It's not a Yuji Naka. He's not going to jail for insider trading that we know of.
No, for sure. Yet the night is long. Isn't it so nice? The three of us can go to bed easy, knowing that we'll never go to jail for insider trading.
Oh hell yeah! Even if I wanted to.
Even if I wanted to. Where do I start?
No one would tell me shit like that.
Exactly.
Don't tell me.
Where do I start? No one's going to do anything for me on that.
How do you insider trade?
Exactly. I don't even know where to start. You put the money in the copy machine and then it comes out. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I will say insider trading is funny because when you boil it down, it's basically like, hey, someone at a company told you that something at a company is about to happen, and then you make a decision based on that information. And it's like that just kind of seems like making decisions, doesn't it? You know?
Isn't that all decision? That's just gossip. Yeah,
I'm just acting on some gossip.
Gossip illegal? Well, then I am going to jail.
It's like you have the
income bracket that is illegal, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, Martha Stewart got in big trouble for it. What
for gossiping?
Some gossip, you know. But since we have the resident Final Fantasy XIV expert on this show, I'm just curious. Like, Yoshi-P is in a really interesting position. They've got the Final Fantasy VII remakes kind of ramping up and closing out probably in the next 5 years or so. Like, what do you think Square Enix's next like 5 to 10 years looks like, just in terms of like, I don't know, like Final Fantasy XIV, all of that stuff?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't. To me, it seems like at this point they're just writing 14. That seems to be their only like. That's our business plan, which I mean is also my business plan to just like keep playing 14 for the next episode. Great, we're in alignment. I have no idea. Like for the series. No idea outside of like 7. I think we talked about this when we met up, but like I don't know what I want either out of that series. I mean, I was fine with 16. Like I think y'all didn't like it, or I know you didn't, John.
I don't play those.
I think it's like I think it's awful. I think it was like really bad. Good for you, Nikki. You played Final Fantasy VII Remake and liked it.
Yeah, and then I started Rebirth, and I was like,
it's too bloated.
But the second they were like, here's an open world section, I was like, I don't know if that's what I'd come to this for. Like, I really liked the fact that I was playing a movie and it was dumb. And then they were like, but here's the dumb video game stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah.
So, what if you filled out Chadley's entire encyclopedia?
Fuck that.
What if I chuck Chadley into the fucking ocean? What if I do that? Is there an option to do that?
I hate Chadley.
Like all the parts of Kingdom Hearts I don't like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's not really what you asked, but
no, but
still.
I mean, they've got Kingdom Hearts, they've got Final Fantasy remakes, whatever those look like. Dragon Quest. I wonder
the Slimes one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if they are looking at things a little bit like Sega. I'm kind of combining two news stories here, a little like Sega, where they've admitted that they're going to release fewer games over the next couple of fiscal years, and really just focus in on a couple of the revivals like Virtua Fighter, Jet Set, Shinobi, all that stuff, but also doubling down on like a Dragon, on Sonic, and on Persona.
The idea that Sega has to come out and say we're doubling down on
Sonic is really funny.
Yeah, of course. Awesome.
I mean, I think 5 years ago it was probably a weird thing to say. If they're like, we're doubling down on Sonic, I'm like, make a good one first. But they've actually done okay, I feel like. I guess with Square Enix, I guess I'm less clear because they kind of keep indicating that the big AAA tentpole stuff has been underperforming. So I'm kind of curious about what changes they make.
And then they don't like the smaller stuff that they published. But I mean, what was that? 2023 when they released it all at once. And I was like, I don't know what the hell y'all just did.
Oh, yeah. And it was like, it was like they forgot how video game releases work. Yeah. It's like, gang, you understand that you've just killed all of them, right?
And they were good. I mean, I didn't play all, but I mean, they were good games. Was it Harvestella was that year? I think?
Yes.
Harvestella.
Yeah.
Wow. I would not have thought of Harvestella in a million years.
Neither did Square Enix.
Yeah, because of how they've buried that so fast. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a little bit when we met up too, but it's like, you know, like Dawn Trail came out and it did what it did. And from an outsider's perspective, I have zero idea what they do next. I fully expected them to kind of reboot the game and bring us to maybe a new world and kind of start over. And I brought up the really silly idea, because there's no way they're working on it in secret, the idea that every 3 Final Fantasies are going to make an MMO. So we had 11, 14, and now 17, but that seems extremely not likely.
Well, what if it 14, what if it was a mobile MMO?
Oh boy. That 11 one.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I just had such a good idea, and it was so good that both of you just got so fucking amped about my good idea.
We're high-fiving over here.
Yeah,
so excited.
That's the silence you hear.
I mean, 14 is doing the mobile thing.
They're doing mobile 14.
They are. So you can finally play it, Nikki. It looks
okay.
Damn. No,
good effort. Catch me in 6 months.
Okay.
No one's asked me in 6 months, and every 6 months and one day I'll say, okay.
Sure.
We'll try.
Maybe when I'm 30.
The UI looks good. Oh my god. When you're washed.
Maybe when I'm washed, I'll join.
Yeah, no, I don't know where I was going with all that, but MMO there's the mobile version, and I've been like watching it kind of in passing. It looks fine. I guess it's because to play the game now and see the whole story, it's like 400 hours. So they need a solution.
Which is just nuts. I mean, what do you want to see from Final Fantasy XIV? Like any features, like any big kind of loose ends that you would want tied up and move forward?
Right. There's a lot of stuff like with some older like side stories, Garlemald and all of that.
Who?
If you've played, it's in the beginning, so I thought John might know.
I know. I know.
You know. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like
Garlemald. What's his
Garlemald? It's the nation state in 14.
Mm-hmm.
They're the big.
Got it. I'm about to download this whole thing.
Yeah. Good. Download all of Garlemald.
I'm on fandom.com.
Oh no, Nikki, no, it's gonna blow up your computer. Don't do it.
Turn that ad block on.
You'll see nothing on the screen. Anyway, sorry, Nikki. I've talked shit about fandom like every other episode, which Nikki started fandom. I don't know if anyone knows that, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
All right, so tying up some loose ends of Garlemald.
Yeah, and I mean, Yoshida even said like in the Dawn Trail press tour they want to do like some more adventurous raids and stuff again, like they kind of had in the beginning, and that I would love to see. I would like to see him continue to like ignore the fan base, because the fan base is pretty unhinged and horrible. Unless you're not, then you're great. I think more of those adventurous raids.
Does this game have Overwatch disease, where the more they listen to the people who are influencers and big in it, the worse the game gets?
Yeah, it has happened a couple of times. Like in Heavensward, like in 2015, they killed like the raiding scene. 2014, because of that. And they fixed it, and now they want to kill it again. I guess I don't know.
Oh, okay. I mean, broken clock.
Ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Wake up, kids! We got the Overwatch disease. I mean that's a big deal. Like I don't get why. I mean, I don't know, but a game with that much goodwill, I do feel like they can try some stuff, but it's interesting when they have to roll back some of their decision making. But I mean, it just from an outsider again, it just felt like they wrapped things up so well, and then Dawn Trail was like interesting, but I don't know what it. I mean, this is me just saying I haven't played it, so I don't know, but it's like I don't know what it leads to, and I don't know what is next. And I think the other part of it is that like I'm so sick from watching the way the rest of the industry works that I'm constantly expecting for something big and something new, when really 14 has been fairly good about kind of staying in a lane that like not a lot of games are staying in.
Yeah. I think too the backlash to Dawn Trail that it got. Well, I mean, for one, some of the backlash seemed weirdly racist, and transphobic. But there was that. Surprise!
Kind of a twofer.
Exactly. Not the game's first time to deal with all that, but definitely one of the louder moments. But there's some criticisms I get, and then it feels like the story kind of hit a wall. But it's there was something so big as Endwalker, and it's this huge finale in a million different ways. Of course, the next one is not to the same pace. It's not the same beat. Like it's way more chill. And it won't be, I'm sure, for a long time. And go play something else, I guess.
Sure.
But nobody can. Everyone's like perpetually on. They're like me. They're always like doing something and miserable and achievement hunting or whatever it may be in the game. And no one will log off. And we're all
What
angry.
would you go play if you had the wherewithal, I guess, to do so?
The wherewithal. I installed League of Legends again. Which
what the fuck?
Good.
What are you doing?
not a good answer.
I love the way you phrased it, wherewithal like Andrea's concussed by Final Fantasy 14. And then immediately it's like, I got League of Legends. Anyway, what's going on? Yeah.
I just have to mute it. I mute the chat and then I play.
Yeah.
And then I get 400 pings.
Fair. That's fair.
God.
That's fair.
Okay, so you're just, it's
toxic.
Over for you is what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah. I'm watching.
Okay, that's good.
Put me in the laundromat. In the laundromat?
We're in the spin cycle.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Just bouncing around. No, it's a good question. Can you? I read recently about WoW, World of Warcraft's new player housing system, and it seemed by comparison to Final Fantasy XIV very streamlined. Yeah. Can you explain Final Fantasy XIV housing in like a nutshell?
Oh God!
I'm really putting you on the spot because that is complicated to answer.
It's all instance and it's limited.
Okay.
So, a little like our current housing market. Oh, yes, Nikki, go ahead.
Hey, they know it's fake, right?
Yeah, I keep saying that in real life too, and
we have the room, we have the buildings, just fill it with something.
Just fucking, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So it's instanced and limited.
And limited. Yeah.
Yes. Well, the neighborhoods are instanced. And then you go into these neighborhoods and there's a set number of houses. And there's like 30 neighborhoods, let's say. And they each have 2 subdivisions. So what's there? 60. Wow. There's like a limited amount of plots in all of these, and everybody like fights over them. There's a lottery to get them, and they add, like a handful every so often, and the landlords come through and then they buy up. It's all the rich people in the game, so extremely
so it's
relatable.
Like real life. That's awesome.
Yeah. And everybody has to fight over it. And you have to keep your subscription up to keep the house, because after 30 days, you get on this 7-day auto demolition thing, and then they nuke your house.
And they raise your home?
They do. They throw away everything.
So wait, all right. So that is actually my next question, is you can fill the house with a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
And so all that's gone?
You have to go talk to an NPC and he's like, here's your shit. You get it all back. And you get like half of your down payment back. So maybe a little better than real life.
That's better than real life,
everything.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. How much is a house?
It's anywhere from like 3 million to like 50 million.
What's that in money?
I mean, can you buy guild 1-to-1?
You put money in
illegally. I mean,
illegally. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like Steve Bannon used to do under Zam's banner.
At Zam. Okay, so wait, so it's all in-game currency that you've earned to buy the home.
Yes.
When you lose can you sell your house?
No.
Okay. But if you want to get out of the house, the only way to get out of the house is to let your subscription lapse, and then they raise the home.
Can transfer. You can
so
transfer.
You can, for like goods and services off platform. Through a lottery system. So I can't have a house and say, John, I'm going to give you my house. I'm playing Dota now. You can take my house. I can't just give it to John.
If it's attached to a guild, like a free company, you could pass John leadership. So what is the when you pass something in like, I don't know, an account, like I can sell you the deed for $1. We could do like a trade like that.
Just an ownership transfer.
Yeah.
This seems stupid.
It kind of is, everyone's hated it since when did The Realm Reborn come out? 2.3.
So for 30 years.
For 30 years, everyone has hated
30 years.
Okay. So wait, John, what is it in WoW now?
WoW's is like, I think it's more straightforward. It's less instanced. So let's see. WoW housing.
It doesn't have like the neighborhoods, right? Like
it doesn't have neighborhoods. In
the neighborhoods, does that mean that you go to Fantasy Encino?
There are two housing zones.
Okay.
And one is in like, because in WoW, they're basically like in the good and evil faction, essentially. And so there's one housing in the Alliance and one in the Horde.
And then the Alliance one.
Yeah.
Okay. But in Final Fantasy 14, if I say I want to move to Fantasy Encino, and I move to Fantasy Encino, and then all of are like, do I walk streets with houses on them?
Yeah.
I can walk and I can loiter in the suburb with my friends.
Yes.
Is there stuff to do
yard.
other than walk around and look at house? Like, can I go to the mall?
No. I mean, there's like
not even a mini game. Come on.
I mean, you can't go.
You can go games, but
you can clearly go to a mall, but not in the neighborhood. Essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. You could keep for a dungeon and like, I don't know.
And then just mill about.
Yeah.
They should.
What do you think, Nikki?
It doesn't have to be like that. It could be fun.
There's an opening in the board, I hear. You could.
There is. You can change things.
I'll take
it in there, Nikki. Job. Yeah, get in there.
I just think that like they could just. What if it was cool in there? What if there were? What if they built public transit? You could vote on where the train went. They were always going to build the train, but you could vote on where the train went. And then you could maybe make like a GameWorks or Dave and Buster's, and you could go in there and you could like do little chocobo, like gamble on chocobo races. And then you could like go to the bar. I'm basically just saying, what if you put the Sims in that part of the game? I might play it.
We could have an HOA.
Yes, you could have an HOA. Exactly. You could have an HOA. You could then go around carrying an inch ruler and measure people's grass. And if the grass is too long, then you can levy a fine. This all sounds really good.
Dude, there's someone that lives near me that has a gingerbread man house, and I hate it. And if we had an HOA, I could get rid of it. I really hate it. I need to get rid of it. Sometimes I think about like going and writing in their guest book and being like, "You need to change this."
Andrea confirmed a NIMBY in Final Fantasy XIV.
There's a. No, it doesn't matter. That's great. No, that's really good. I think that you should have that vendetta.
I agree. Yeah. Like, I would be mad about it too. If you're just like, you're here in your cool fantasy land and you have to walk outside every day and see some fucker's gingerbread house. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be mad about that. Yeah.
Paid a lot of guilt for that, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, that goes a long way to help me understand housing a bit more, because when the game tried to explain it to me once I went into the neighborhood the first time, I was like, cool, I can't wait to get a house. And then they kind of explained it. I'm like, I'm never going to get a house. And then I just kind of gave up on it in the game. And I do feel like I feel it in my chest that I am going to re-download Final Fantasy XIV this year.
Wow.
I feel it.
Good.
I remember when I played with Natalie for about 2 hours one day, and she's like a level 8 billion whatever, and she had a whale that she could ride. She had like a whale mount, like this big ass whale thing. And she just was taking me around this one zone on the back of her whale and then getting off and then like killing guys in one hit and giving me the experience basically. And it's just like, it was like the version of like, he asked for no pickles for like 2 hours. It's just Natalie going around bullying. Girl. Yeah. Just bullying people. Girl. And, yeah, it was fun, but I don't know. I just dropped off. It's hard. Those live service games are tough for me. It's hard to like really stick with them, but I might try. Yeah. I might give it a shot. This year. Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to get into because it's so long, but if you've got some friends,
it is really long. It is. Yeah, I know. I do have friends, and they can all bully everyone else for me, so that's good. Sega ended up being the best reviewed publisher of 2024 according to Sega. Sega. I did earlier,
Sega.
Earlier, instead of saying I insist, John said I incest.
I did on another show. I did say that. So
he's having a good one today.
I'm having a good day. Sega My Ego was the best reviewed publisher of 2024. That was on the back of like, Metaphor ReFantasio and Like a Dragon and Sonic Generations and all that stuff. I like a lot of those things. They also, make a lot of like sicko strategy games that I'll never fucking play. But they do all that. They had the weird delay / cancellation of Football Manager 25, which are gonna just like,
which is really weird. I don't know if we ever talked about that on the show. I can't remember. I don't think so. Not to be insane, and because this is a practice that I actively despise, they really could have just updated the roster.
I know. Yeah,
they really could have just updated the roster, said it's $20,
right?
And then be like, and then we'll hit you with the real one next year. But this one's $20 if you want the updated rosters.
But you remember, like, I was like, I've been reading about this game for a couple of years, or like the series for a couple of years, and they were adding Niki a lot of like on-field simulation stuff, like you would be able to like, but they were doing it at the same time that they were switching to Unity for the first time. So they were like, we're gonna add all this crazy shit and
change the
it'll be in Unity. And they finally, they delayed it literally, I think 4 times, and they finally said,
that's tough.
We're just gonna bring it back.
Tough.
But fortunately for them in the series, like it still makes a lot of money and they're just sticking with it. But it's gonna be part of apparently a smaller slate of games from Sega. I can't actually remember if any of us in this room love Persona or Like a Dragon. Do we love those? I can't remember.
I liked.
Okay.
Yeah, and I liked Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth.
Yes.
That game is too long by like 10 hours.
It is too long. Yes.
And
kind of a problem I would argue a lot of Sega's games have right now.
For sure. Yeah, that game was long by 10 hours, and I got to the point where I was like, there's a part of the game where very clearly my options were I go grind or I give them $9. And I said, I'm not going to do either of those things. Like it doesn't, I should be able to just play the game.
Yeah.
I've spent enough time on this story, engaged with this thing, that I should not have to stop what I am doing to progress to like, I was like, I don't want to. So then I stopped. The Persona games are nothing to me.
I mean, I don't like 5, so I guess that's like where
that's the
I'm
only,
like whatever.
My favorite my Persona fact is that I've never played any of them, but I've listened to the entirety of 5. Like it was
the soundtrack.
Because my roommate in college had a huge fucking TV and no headphones. And whenever I was in the room right after the game came out, he played all 300 hours or whatever of that game.
It is a long
game. Headphones. So I listened to it like it was a fucking
your roommate raw dogged Persona 5 in your that's tough.
Yeah.
I
would hate it out of that. Okay.
It was not great, but the songs are good.
The songs
are good. Yeah,
that's good.
I felt like I had played it before. I don't know.
Sure.
It was a lot of the same thing. It was way too damn long. Like
it's really long.
I say that I haven't played 3 million times. But
but if you've played 3 or 4, you've maybe played 5. I would argue.
Did you like 3 Reloaded? Was that also last year?
Yeah,
it was last year.
Reload.
Most of it, and really liked it. And then I played it like right on the heels of playing Persona 3 Portable for PC.
Right.
So I got like 3/4 of the way through Reload and was like, all right, I'm done. I just did
yeah, no, for
I get
sure.
it.
Because you just
Yeah, that was kind of like when Niki and I think, did we both do this? We both played God of War like right before Ragnarok came out. And then like we started playing Ragnarok. We're like, wow, we did just play 80 hours of this thing. I don't know why we're doing this again.
I did the same thing with Tears of the Kingdom.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh boy, it's time to replay Breath of the Wild because Tears of the Kingdom is about to come out. And I had a fucking blast. And then Tears of the Kingdom came out and I was like,
oof, I'm tired of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it might be time though. I think it
is really good. I just started playing it like a month ago again. It's really
I'm trying to decide if I should do it now or if I should just wait for Swanch 2 and then it'll run at 60.
Will it?
Wait until the next one and then do the same thing. So you're always like,
so I'm always one behind. That's really
I
good.
love that idea.
That's me.
I love that idea. I
run at
wonder
45, John.
We've already talked about what?
It'll run at 45.
It'll probably run at 45. You're right. Just like Pokemon ZA will run at 35 on Switch 2. God, that was funny. Yeah, someone was like, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jake Steinberg was like kind of complaining that people were complaining about the graphics. Like, oh no, not like this, not like PS2 graphics. And I'm like, yeah, but they run like shit. That's why people are complaining about it. It's like, that's the problem.
It's also the most profitable media franchise on the planet.
It makes
there is zero excuse. Those games, and I don't feel like this about literally anything. Every single one of those games should look like Crysis. Like it's the only explanation. It's the only thing that feels right. Is that all of those games should look like that? They have more money than God.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, this is a solved problem. They made Super Mario Odyssey for Switch, and it looks like that, and it runs like that, and it's like, I don't know, but we don't have to talk about that. I feel like I complain about Pokemon a lot. It's fine. Monster Hunter Wilds did launch this past week. I got to eat my hat immediately because I wondered aloud like 10 days ago. I was like, what's the ceiling really on Monster Hunter? Like, I really feel like they can't sand the edges off of this anymore. They got all the normies that they're going to get. And it's Capcom's literally their most successful game ever.
Yeah. It's the most concurrence on Steam ever with
1.4 million. 1.4 million on Steam at its peak, 8 million copies in 3 days. That number has to be a lot higher now. Even on PC where it is fucking not optimized, people are playing it all the time. And yeah, Nikki, have you picked it up yet at all? No. Andrea, have you picked it up at all? I'm the only one who's played it. Okay.
I haven't. And I mean, I want to. Steam says I spent like 80 hours on Worlds, but
ooh, okay.
Oh, that was a puppy. Anyway,
puppy was bad. Puppy was like, it's 90, not 80 hours.
It's a blur though. I have no idea what I did in that game for that long. Aside from
you probably killed
some lizards.
You probably killed a lot of lizards. Yeah, that's about it.
That's how it goes.
I started it last weekend. I was pleasantly surprised in the sense that, like, I think the onboarding for someone like me that really was not grabbed by World. Like, I felt like World's first mission was so long. I remember they took you around where you're killing this big bird thing for like an hour. I feel like, I mean, just kind of this weird, torturous, long thing. And I was like, I did a few hunts after that and I just didn't stick with me because I felt like I was bombarded by systems. And in this one, they really do onboard you, I think, a little bit better. It does not take them a long time to then set you back in the camp and start you on new missions where, okay, all that shit is being thrown at you again. So you kind of have to like catch up. But I don't know. I appreciated it. I kind of get why this sold so much in 3 days. I'll say that.
Does it take like an act of God to get into a party now? Like that was just
great
like
question.
Worlds. It was like miserable.
No. I remember that, and that was a drag. It is a bit easier in this game. Yes.
Okay. But it is not normal. So like, no, very it's not. Critically, like I asked the same question on UPF last week. And everyone in chat was very quick to be like, yeah, they fixed it. And then I watched them do it.
You're right.
You get a friend code, and then you have to invite using only the friend code. Mm-hmm. You use the friend code to invite a person. And then you get into a sub lobby. The person that you cannot just join a person's session. They either have to have selected a mission or are in the middle of a mission sometimes. Yeah. And then you can also join a person's world and not be on the hunt with them.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, no, gang, just press a great question. Just press the Xbox button and say, I want to play the video game with my friends.
Yeah. Again, I mean, we just talked about this with Pokemon games running well. This is a solved issue. for like every other game. Like this is a solved issue. So I think it is a little bit better. It is a little bit smoother, but you're right that it is still a complicated mess. Yes.
It feels like it's an RE Engine thing. Yeah, on account of the fact that RE Engine was not meant to be a multiplayer video game engine, and then they were like, all of them are in this now.
How weird is it that doesn't sound for Resident Evil? That like makes
because I thought that and that probably is because it's not just Resident Evil.
I know, anymore. But like,
is it Reach Emotion Engine?
I think it's like Reach Emotion RE Engine. Whoop, nope, I wrote REM Gome.
Rem Gome.
Reach for the Moon Engine.
Stupid.
Okay.
Reach for the Moon engine.
They should reach for some fucking net code.
You know what happened though? Yeah, this is what happened because the engine was actually designed for Resident Evil. They were going to call it the Resident Evil engine, and then someone was like, "No, we're gonna apply it to everything use it for else.
Other stuff." Yeah.
So what do we call it? Reach for the Moon engine. That makes no sense, but that's fine.
So that's what it is.
Good job, Capcom.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that there was yet another game for people to talk a lot about, and I will say,
good for you.
Good for you. There were people in Giant Bomb orbit who were mad at me. I think I don't look at comments ever, but something happened last week where I was like, let's see what the people are saying. Okay, and they were like, I can't believe Niki said that they like video games where when you press a button, they want a thing to happen, and I'm like, yeah. So,
wow.
Okay, so you're talking about the fact that in Monster Hunter, it's a little bit like from soft games where like there's no like you got to go through the fucking animations. There's no animation cancel stuff. Yeah. And I
everyone was like, I don't understand why is that bad? And I'm like, I don't for the same reason you think it's good.
I use the insect glaive, which is like you shoot the bug and then you've got this like big pole basically that you're like slashing stuff with. It is funny where you're like, if I like hit a wrong combination of buttons, turn slightly a different way, I will just turn into Star Wars kid doing like lightsaber shit in the garage, just kind of like whoa, like looks like I'm having like a rave like adjacent to a lizard that's like trying to kill me. I'm just like, and so it's like I do think it is one of those things where this does not inform anything critically or like actually unpack anything at all. But it's one of those things where it's just like you either like it or you don't. Like it's just like one of those things where I get it when I sometimes when I don't connect with a hit and I just start fucking dancing, I'm like, why is the game like this? Like it doesn't have to be like this, but it is a very deliberate design choice, and a lot of
people like it.
Really love it. A lot of perverts really love it.
People are allowed to like stuff, and also I'm allowed to not like it.
That is true. It's totally true.
I don't want to play something with the friend code set up, so that's all.
No, and that's your right also. That's also your right.
As an American, that's your right.
Thank you.
They haven't taken that one away yet.
We have Monster Hunter in Final Fantasy XIV, so there's a fight.
Oh, you don't even need it.
Yeah. It's janky.
You don't even need it.
So
yeah.
So it's the same.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. This week we also got a bunch of previews for Clair Obscur.
Michael Hyam's Clair Obscur 33.
Yeah, Michael Hyam loved this game when he played the preview. Did you see any of the preview stuff, Andrea, this week for that game? Very French RPG.
Everyone loved it, and I was like, okay, what's the deal with the name though? Is this like a Star Ocean integrity and faithlessness situation? Like, what's happening?
That's not real.
That's real.
Yeah, it is. That's real.
There's a video game on God's green earth called Star Ocean Integrity. Sorry, Star Ocean presumably integrity and A&D or ampersand faithlessness.
Yep, I was pulling it up to make sure I wasn't wrong. I made it my Twitter name, but it went over the character limit at one point. So I wasn't. It was like Star Ocean Integrity and Faithful or something.
And like 8 people played this one, huh?
Probably. Probably. Not many people play those Star Ocean games, but you know what? The ones that do really love it. Yeah,
love them.
They're pretty good. Yeah, so a lot of discourse about the name. Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33.
Who's Clair?
And why is she so hidden? Why can't they find her?
Listen, who's Clair? That's what I want to know. My guess is, and a lot of people's guess was that Expedition 33 may have been the original title of this game, but then as companies are wont to do when they start huffing their own farts toward the end of release, they go, but this is going to be a big franchise.
It's a franchise, yeah.
So we're not going to call it Expedition 34 or Expedition 33-2.
No, but they fucked up though, is the thing.
Okay, so what do you think they fucked up?
It should have just been Expedition 33, a Clair Obscur story. And then everyone could have called it Expedition 33 and then dropped the last half.
Okay.
Is my idea.
Okay.
But if you think that's not a good idea, then it's not a good idea.
I think a lot of people were. I get it. I mean, Jason Schreier is, I think, the person that really kicked off this conversation. But I think I kind of like the name, but I do think it is insane to go to market with this name because I think everyone outside of our bubble of like critical, I've got my finger on the pulse of fucking everything all the time kind of awareness. Like everyone outside the bubble is like, what the fuck is that game called? What is that?
But I think, I think, yes, I agree. But I also think that people are just going to call it Expedition 33.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they talk about it on the streets. And then
who is Clair? I'm still laughing at who is Clair.
And then I think it's just going to be like a Metaphor ReFantazio situation.
Yeah, I mean,
Metaphor.
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah.
Metaphor will clearly be, the next Metaphor will be called like Metaphor Rababala Boo Boo or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
that's great. Write that down.
Clair.
Yeah, Rababala Boo Boo. Got it. And I guess Clair Obscur's next one will be like Clair Obscur Warehouse 4 or whatever. What is it going to be called?
Warehouse 4.
Warehouse 4. Pier 1.
That's good. Clair Obscur Pier 1 fucking bangs, actually. That's a good video game name.
Clair Obscur Cheesecake Factory. I think there's a long line. Clair Obscur Coles.
Who's Clair?
Who's Clair?
Clair Obscur, who's Clair?
I really love it.
It's like a Nancy Drew game.
But I like Clair Obscur Expedition 33 as a name so much more than Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet, though.
Yeah, because one of them has a good mouthfeel. And then the other one does not make you think of a song from the 80s. And then have Heretic Prophet in it.
Song from the 80s?
I don't know if that song's from the 80s.
Intergalactic is the Beastie Boys song from the late 90s.
Word?
I almost said, is that a David Bowie song? Okay, so we're like...
What's that one? Which one are you
thinking? I don't know. I don't remember. I can't actually.
He goes to space in one of them for sure.
Bowie.
In a new one.
He does.
He does, doesn't he? Well, there's also Space Man.
Well,
no, Ground Control to Major Tom.
Ground Control to Major Tom.
Here we go.
It.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about that guy.
We just embarrass ourselves. It's fine.
Yeah.
On our Bowie
have him come fucking get us.
Why are people bad at naming games and or things? Why do you think that is?
Well, it's because most of them are taken. And like I think
that's true.
I actually think that's what it is. A lot of the good video game names are taken. And then it has to be different enough that it is not going to get confused on Steam for something else.
Yeah.
Which opens the door to the colon. And then at that point, once you at the colon, at the point, but I really do believe this. At the point that you put a colon in your video game name, it doesn't matter anymore. You've already lost. So at that point, you can pick any noun and adjective or number, and then that's just the name of your video game.
I think that's probably true.
I just think that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I think you should be allowed to name your game old stuff.
Okay. Like
you should be there. Someone should be able to make another video game called Grim Fandango.
Okay.
But it's not obviously it's just not Grim Fandango, but they're not doing anything with it. So if someone wanted to make a third person character action game,
Neil could have named it Asteroids.
Centipede 2.
Centipede 2. I love that. Well, I think there was a Centipede 2 technically.
Okay. Well, but that's what I'm saying.
I think. Yeah.
What do you think it is?
No, I think that's mostly it. But I also think I do think you get tied up in the proper nouns that your game is using, and you are so close to it. You're like, when we start saying it a lot, it'll work for other people.
It'll make sense.
And it's like, it kind of doesn't. I don't know how much it matters, but it kind of doesn't to me.
Do you know why Avowed is called Avowed?
Not yet.
I don't either.
I don't think I know why.
Do they ever establish
do you know
Maybe
why?
they never tell you. I don't.
And maybe they don't, but I just realized that usually when you play a video game, you can figure it out. It's called The Last of Us because there's not a lot of guys left, right? It's called Halo because there's a Halo. You figure it out. I don't really understand. Why is it called Avowed?
I mean, Avowed.
Why is Star Ocean called Integrity and Faithlessness?
Yeah, why?
I think Avowed is going to ultimately be about like
the vows that we have to our gods, etc.
No,
et cetera,
like an open confession about the nature of the world. I think, but you know what I like about Avowed as a title is that it's kind of esoteric. It's kind of like
it isn't. It's just like that's just the name
it's kind of like it's to me it is the mark of a group of people who are confident enough in the elements of their story or the world that they're presenting that they're like, we're just going to name it kind of something simple about the truth of mankind, and then you're going to figure it out.
You figure it out.
I don't know. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Do you think it would have been better if they didn't put the Clair Obscura situation on until after the video game came out? So if they called the game Expedition 33 and then like 6 months from now, they were like,
this was the first it's a Clair Obscura.
Yes, exactly. Like Clair Obscura Expedition 33. And then that kind of lets you establish the game on its own, but then you still are able to let people know that it's part of a larger series.
I think that could have worked. I don't know.
I don't think they should do a thing like SMT where they just like add it on to random games and everyone fights about which one it belongs.
Right. Which one's the real Shin Megami Tensei? That's a good point.
That's not Clair Obscur. That's something else.
I really like that idea. Yeah, when they make a very French Lies of P clone, everyone will be like, that's not a Clair Obscur. No. No, I know it's got the same kind of like overall like vibe, but no. That's
and it's got it in the title, but it's not.
That would be really funny. All right, who gives a shit about names? I guess. I mean, it's fun to talk about them, and clearly,
no, it's great to talk about.
33 is so goofy, but I love it. Anyway, we've had 25 years of PlayStation 2. Holy shit. That makes me feel so old. Nikki, that wasn't your first console. You had like a DS or something, right? Or whatever.
No, the DS came out after the PlayStation 2. So
no, I know. I just couldn't remember if that was your first.
I understand. No, my first console was that I owned was a PlayStation 1, the round one, the ONE.
Oh, the round one. Okay.
The one that came with the DualShock was the first one that was mine. And then on Christmas Day, the year after the PS2 came out, I got it from my grandpa from Costco, and it came in one of, remember those like big plastic prisons that they used to put things in that were like had hard plastic that you needed scissors to like chop into?
Oh my God. Yeah.
So the PlayStation 2 box was in there, and then there was it was Gran Turismo A-Spec was in there, and then an extra controller was all like clamshelled, form pressed into this box that you just grabbed at Costco on your way out. And then on Christmas Day, I sliced my hand wide the fuck open on it so bad that I couldn't then play the PlayStation.
So happy memories of the PlayStation is what you're saying.
Yeah. Love that thing.
Andrea, what are your memories of the PlayStation 2?
Oh gosh, I remember my mama put it on layaway. I was like, "Oh, I want one," and she was like, "All right, we ain't got the income for that, so we putting that on layaway." So we paid it off over time, and I would go to the store and look at it and be like, "I'm getting one of those one day eventually." And she bought me Siren, and I was far too young to play that game, so I didn't even play it for like a solid 6 to 8 months because I was terrified of it. So we just had this system with this terrifying game that I never touched until we finally got me something that wasn't Siren.
Wasn't Siren, yeah.
Yeah. Until then, I think I just like played PlayStation 1 games in it. Glorified PS1.
The best PlayStation 1 ever made.
And a DVD player.
Yeah, and a DVD player.
Yeah,
it was amazing because I never owned a PS1. So when I got my PS2, I was like, oh my God, now I've got this entire library I missed out on. So like all the PlayStation 1 games I played, I had a much stronger desire to play PlayStation 1 games for really the first, like, I want to say maybe 3 years that I owned a PS2. But then like I started playing like I like Jak and Daxter a lot when that came out. I love Final Fantasy X. I don't think I've ever played a game as much in a short amount of time that I played Final Fantasy XII when that came out. I think I put about 80 hours in that game in about a week.
Healthy.
Really. So that was so funny because it was every year at my college, we would have to take something called Jan term, which was just like you decide to go like travel in January officially or whatever. But one of the 4 years you're there, you are technically allowed to take it off. They don't encourage it, but you're allowed to do it. And I just took it off, and like I fucking rotted in my duplex, like just like a scene from Seven. Like the detectives come in. Yeah, I mean, just kind of like full stink lines, Final Fantasy XII. So I have a lot of good PS2 memories, but it does make me feel ancient that it is 25 years ago that it came out.
Yeah. Wow. I think some of my favorite RPGs I eventually like played on there.
So good.
Years later, like
so good.
Xenosaga, and then I played
Xenosaga.
I can love those games.
So good. I don't think we've ever talked about Xenosaga. We should do. All right, calling it now. A new 99 Potions episode.
Yes.
Xenosaga series.
Yes, please.
Oh,
we'll do that because I need to replay those games. I haven't played them in a long time, but
please, they're so good.
Sorry, is that Xenogears or no?
Nope. I mean,
oh come on, come on.
What's in a name? What's in a name? You know, like
it can't be nope. And then
Xenogears was technically chapter 5 of a 6-part story, but they started with chapter 5 for some fucking reason. And then they were like, they kind of indicated that they might actually go back and fill it in. And we had a sense of what that would be, but then they kind of canceled it. And then they made this new thing called Xenosaga, which definitely plucks from some of that, but not really. And then it makes a lot of the stuff like way more actually like Judeo-Christian focused than
not the Bible.
Xenogears originally was.
Okay.
Now
hold on. Is it Yahweh one of the characters?
Hold on a second. Wait a second. Hold on.
Mary
Magdalene's in it, and Chaos is Jesus.
Please,
and then like Xenoblade and Xenoblade Chronicles, I still kind of pluck some stuff still from that. And then Xenoblade Chronicles X kind of really puts some of that stuff front and center. It's not easy.
I am on xenosaga.fandom.com/wiki/Jesus_Christ.
I had to link it.
We gotta fucking clip this
his aliases are the Messiah. That's good. That's
the
helpful.
Messiah. Mm-hmm.
Now,
oh my god,
robots in all of it or no?
Robots in all of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Robots in all of it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
it's kind of
Xenosaga is
Detroit
great.
become human situation too with the robots.
Okay. All right, Andrea, just real quick. I need to clarify. None of the robots in Xenosaga go like, this is just like Martin Luther King. Like, none of them do that. So like,
Bible, no.
yeah, they do the Bible. That's true. They're like, this robot's just like Jesus, which is different. That's a different vibe. But you're right. It is kind of like that. Yeah, they're like clones that are like perma children. They like have 6 shooters. It's normal, you know?
I was playing real games for adults like Gran Turismo.
God,
and
Gran
Madden.
Gran Turismo A-Spec was so good.
That game's fucking great.
You know what? That game still is great.
That game's still good. Yeah. Madden 05, the best one they ever made.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh,
pretty good game. And I had a bunch of licensed games. 3 is not better than 2.
It is.
Did y'all play Kinetica? Sorry.
No, what's that?
No.
That's the game where they have like wheels for hands and they race. Like,
holy shit. Yeah. Whoa.
That just came to me. I had to.
I forgot about this.
Connectimals? Is that what you said?
No. Kinetica. Kai.
Yep, I got it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, this is from the God of War people.
Oh, is it real? It is.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh, it is. This is the most perverted
in God of War.
Dude, can you fucking imagine if the box of God of War 2018
that
would
words
rule.
from the makers of Kinetica on it? That would have been awesome.
I wish you could put. Did they put Kratos in this thing? They probably did.
Well, the God of War 1 and 2 are in the Kinetica engine.
Are they really?
That's what this
God
Wikipedia says. Yeah.
Wow.
It was the first game. It was the first game to use the Kinetica game engine, which was later used for SOCOM, God of War, and God of War 2.
I can't stress it enough. This is so perverted. These wheels attached to the feet and hands.
I think they are happy. Personally.
I think they're happy. I do think they're happy, but I do think this is like made by a sick person.
No, this game looks pretty sick.
Actually, I'm gonna probably download this very legally tonight and play it. I wouldn't have thought about this in a million years.
Did you play Shadow of the Colossus?
No, I really wanted to, but then I don't think I could convince my mom that I would like it enough. That was really part of like what the gambit was.
I totally get that.
And which ended up in me getting a lot of really shitty games that I knew I wasn't going to like licensed games or like really shitty racing games that I deeply knew I was not going to like. And I didn't get to play a lot of weird shit because it was not ever really worth the risk of the no money we had being spent on a thing that I wasn't going to like. And then the one time where I did pick a game that I wasn't particularly sure about based off of the inklings of reading a magazine was when I played Metroid Prime, the first one. And then that game scared me so bad, my mom drove me back to the GameSpot the same day, or the GameStop the same day, so we could convince Elston, the man who worked at the GameStop, to let us switch it for another game.
Oh, no.
No.
Nikki,
my mom should have done that with Siren, damn.
It might have worked. Back then, I think it was more easier to be like, can you please?
It was. I bought WrestleMania 18 for GameCube and I took it home. I was so excited and I was like, I played it for an hour and I was like, this game fucking stinks. And I like plucked it out of the GameCube and I took it back up there and I convinced the guy to like give me something else. I don't remember what it was, but I was like this game sucks. here.
It's really bad.
Like
it's just not a good experience.
I think you get one. Maybe per location. You probably
per
get
location you get one. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll never know again because I'll probably never buy a physical disc again. But
listen, in 3 months I'll be 25% more, so you won't. You won't want to anyway. So that's good.
It's a really fun time to be launching a hardware product. Does anyone know that?
I'm sure it is. Because the thing about making hardware, right, is that all of it's here already.
All of it's here already, and we make
the whole pipeline, and we make it here. The whole pipeline, and that's just how all of it works.
Yeah. It's neat. Let's move on to stuff that we're actually playing. Andrea, I'm so curious about Lost Records, Rage and Bloom.
Yeah, I watched Nat play the whole thing, so I kind of I already know what's happening, but I wanted to romance someone different, so I kind of want to.
Wow.
Did she make a bad choice or a different choice?
No. I think I like all of them.
Okay.
So she romanced. Oh God, what's her? Cat. I think that's her name.
Statistically speaking, that sounds correct.
Her name is Cat
with a
Cat.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, God, all right. The kids are starting to name themselves some weird shit. Hi, I'm At. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's really cute. I don't know. Cute is like one of the best things I can say. I like that it's about girlhood. I like the vibes, but also I don't know. Is Don't Nod for me at this point like kind of all about the vibe? That's kind of I don't know where it's going, I guess.
Okay.
So it's just sort of a good, what's the word for it? Whenever the presentation is just really, really pretty.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to go much deeper than that right now.
It's a good one of those.
Yes. Yeah. It's very polished, super, super pretty lighting. We kept talking about that like the whole time. The soundtrack rules. And I think the individual characters themselves, I think they're great, but I have no idea where this larger plot's going. And right now it kind of feels like it's not that compelling in that way, but cool.
Yeah.
I was deeply confused as to why this game was real because I thought it was Life is Strange. And then I found out that they don't have that one anymore. So now they're making their own Life is Strange. And the fact that it feels like Life is Strange is intentional. And I have deep respect for, they won't let us make the thing anymore. So we'll just do it. We'll file the serial numbers off and we'll go make it over here. It's like actually kind of fucking sick. But I'm glad to hear that it's a good experience. I liked the way that those games looked, but for me, they were a little like too twee. At least that first one was, in a way where I was like, I'm okay on this one. Yeah. So I didn't play it. But this one more compelling to me. So glad to hear that it is good.
Yeah.
The comment about girlhood is something I've seen, reflected a few times. Like, can you expand on that at all about like kind of what you liked about that as a celebration, maybe what it does better than games that have kind of tried that?
I really like this idea. You're sort of in the now, like reflecting back on everything that you experienced back then. And you're like, I think they're probably like pushing 40, which is ancient and dying, as we know.
Fucking wash. They own the laundromat.
Yeah, they own the laundromat together. Yep.
I'm trying to think of like
it's called Rage and Bloom, the laundromat. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it takes place in the laundromat where they're reflecting. Actually, it's a bar. But I do like that they're kind of grieving this. And none of them, it seems, are friends now, but they all have these really, really fond memories of the before times, like, I don't know, 20, 25 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Where they had all this fun and they're still reconnecting and like, oh, we said we'd be friends forever. Clearly not the case. We all lied to each other when we were 14, 15.
Right.
What?
It happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but it's good in that way to kind of grieve that friend group that you have. Like,
right.
I feel like those friendships between young girls are so important and vital for getting through how complicated some of that shit gets when you're growing up. And they clearly had that. Even if you didn't have like quite the same group with several girls, because I just had like one really close friend mostly.
Yeah.
it still is very nostalgic in that way that I feel like Don't Nod is good at that. Like I have no nostalgia for this, but yet I am very nostalgic now. Does a really good job there. And I just kind of like that grief of there are all these tragic things that happen along the way, and this clearly there was some sort of event that pushed us all away from each other and we lost contact. And now we're kind of getting back together and seeing where everybody's at. And there's kind of these hard feelings about where we're at right now. But I like
that's cool. Yeah, that's great. Does it strike kind of? I'm with Niki to an extent on the tweeness of the original Life is Strange. Like, does it strike that chord often, or would you say maybe there's, I don't know, maybe slightly more sincerity? I don't know, with Rage and Bloom.
I like
it's a weird way. It's a weird way to. It's a weird way to ask. Well, is it just like that other shit? Like they're all like into their feelings and whatever. You know, it's like I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the second one's probably the most well written out of all their games. It does have that sort of like surface level. I don't know how to put it. I don't want to say it's not immature. It's about girlhood. Like that's not immature.
Yeah, no.
But it's like after a while, I get sort of put off by it in the way that I've been steeped in this nostalgia for too long. So I definitely can't play this any longer. It can easily feel like it's too long.
I guess I feel like sometimes what happens with those games for me is that you can feel you can feel them counting in their head. Oh, it's been this many minutes since we've like reminded you about like how like precious and emotional and all this stuff. It's like it feels sometimes a little like colored by numbers in that way. And I feel like and it's like I get why, because a lot of these are episodic and they feel like they have to hit some of those beats in every episode. I don't know if that's true. Actually, I would love them to see like if that, but I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. I think not that the sincerity is bad, but I think just sometimes how it's expressed feels mechanical, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely always very earnest, but there is this sense of, I mean, I was doing it constantly to Nat. It was like, oh my God, do you remember that from the 90s? Oh my God, I remember this from the 90s. We can rewind the VHS tape. Let's do that.
Okay. That's funny.
Do you remember the like camcorder? Oh, here's a camcorder. Like,
sure.
There's stuff in it, like all these random toys. There's Pogs. I never had Pogs, but
licensed?
I remember them. No, not licensed.
Okay.
Fuck.
They look like Pogs, though.
They look like
they're mostly Pogs. That's good. No, they should.
They're not back. I don't think. Did they ever really like fully go away? I don't know.
No, for sure. Pog. I don't think you can walk into a Target.
Pog.
Sorry, when you look up Pogs, they're like, you mean milk caps, right?
What?
Wow. That just happened to me too. Yeah, I'm like, I was like, can you get a slammer? And it's like, you mean milk caps? I'm like, I don't.
What is that?
I don't mean that. Anyway,
the Pog revival starts here. Is this it was a game? I thought you just collected these circles.
A lot of people ultimately just did collect them, but it was a game. You would use a slammer to like slam the stack of Pogs, and you would like collect a certain amount of them, and blah 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 blah. It was kind of a weird.
So you just like threw them. So it wasn't really a game. It was just like we're slamming stuff into the ground. How to play Pogs. It's a 23-minute video.
I'm watching.
So can y'all just like sit tight for 23 minutes? And I'm just
we'll learn how to play Pogs.
We're just gonna learn how to play Pogs, and then I think it'll be good.
This seems like it sucked.
Yeah, this seems. Yeah, it's. I didn't have this board. There's like a board here. I never had this shit. No, this is all too tricky.
Well,
can you do speed
Lost
cups
Records
in
didn't
it?
teach us, so.
They didn't
speed cups.
They didn't teach the controversy of Pogs.
They didn't.
That's fair. You also played a demo for a game called Rue Valley, which is basically, from what I could tell, we have Disco Elysium at home, the video game. How did you enjoy it? I saw the trailer, and that was my first thought. But I do remember having the thought, Like I should probably check it out because I mean, Disco Elysium is great. So
yeah. No, I mean, I just started the demo like 2 nights ago and played maybe like 45 minutes. So very, very brief, but I need to like get in there and finish it. It seems super early, and I wanted to play it based on we are doing a thing because we really like Disco Elysium. But it almost feels like it follows the same exact beat even to like the setup with how it introduces you, and then there's a woman standing outside your door, and I'm like, okay, at a certain point, is this gonna wear thin? I'm told that as long as I guess see the demo through, and then like maybe you can repeat it. I don't know. You kind of get that there's a time loop, and you make these different choices every time, and it builds upon itself. So maybe that I will get over that part, but I do kind of worry about to what extent is it just the art style and the sort of like social media format of how the dialogue plays out, or is it like beat for beat? We really like Disco Elysium if you want to play it again.
Right.
I'd probably buy it either way, so I don't know why I'm complaining. But
no, I get it. I mean, it looks nice. It just it is. I think it's often kind of, I've seen as a negative thing when a game is just so clearly trying to be something else. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, like we're not going to get another fucking Disco Elysium, so we might as well be checking out the games that are doing. And it's like, what did they do well? They did really interesting internal dynamics. They added some really interesting thing to random rolls. These aren't like really revolutionary. They just put them together in a really fascinating way that no one else really has. So why can't another team do it? Now, introducing a guy and then there's a girl outside the room and all that stuff. It's like, okay, well, maybe this could have started differently, but I'm interested. I should go grab it because I grabbed a bunch of demos, but I didn't grab that one yet. So
the premise is still really interesting. We'll see. If it's, like, I guess thematically is as interesting as Disco was, but
I'll be checking that out, I think, this weekend. Nikki, you played a game called Fruit Fight. You want to talk about that?
It's a physical game for your hands.
It's a physical game. Wow.
That you interact with in the real world. It is a push your luck game.
Okay.
Where there's one deck that everyone splits for 2 to 5 players is what it says on the box. This is published by CMYK, who also did Wilmot's Warehouse, and this game is one of 4 in a collection called Magenta, which includes Fruit Fight, Duos, Fives, and Figment. I've only played Fruit Fight so far because obviously they are not games that I can play with just myself. So getting the number of people required is going to take me some time, but I've been able to play this one since they sent it to me last week because the collection dropped last week. It's a push your luck game where everyone draws a card and each of the cards has a fruit on it. For video watchers, you can see the fruit. So each card has a fruit on it and a number also. And your goal is to keep pulling until you get a duplicate of the card. If you get a duplicate of the card, you bust and you lose the whole hand. You want to try to get your number as high as possible. At any point after your turn, the other people that you're playing with, if they draw, so say a person draws a blueberry and I have a blueberry, they can then take all of my blueberries and then they can either stop their turn or keep going. If they then draw another blueberry, then they bust also. Basically, you're just trying to get your number as big as possible while also trying to figure out if there are enough cards in the deck, because the higher the card number, the fewer there are in the deck, and then the lower the card number, the more there are. So it's just like you're trying to count cards and understand what the meter of the deck is based on what other people have already pulled and what other people already have in front of them.
Yeah.
It kind of complicated when explained, really easy to start picking up and playing. It takes one round of you like poking around and being like, oh, before you kind of understand. All 4 of the games in this collection have QR code. The instructions are really, really good. And they all have QR codes on them that take you to their YouTube channel that have like 5 to 10 minute long, like really good explainers on how to play the game and ways that you should and ways that you should not play the game. And it also seems like they did so much play testing that they were like, we noticed that people tried to do this. It isn't fun if you try. Like literally the guy who's doing the videos, whose name I don't know, is like, the game's not fun if you try to approach it this way. Don't try not doing that.
That's kind of fun.
Which is really delightful. I also think that the art on these is all really good. I don't know if it has. Oh, maybe the art for Fruit Fight is by Rainer Knizia, because that's the name that's in here on the box. So maybe that's who did the art for Fruit Fight, but I'm not sure. I'll check and I'll bring it back for next week. But yeah, I have they sent me all of the games in the collection, so I will keep playing them.
Keep telling us about them every week.
Yeah, but I'm really trying to like do more stuff with games that are not explicitly like, oh, we're gonna like. I'm in the process of playing. I've never played Baldur's Gate, so I'm playing Baldur's Gate with friends. Like we started last week, and have done like all we've done is character creation and get Shadowheart out of the box.
Which is it. Very early. Right.
Which took 2 hours.
I know it's a lot. Like,
so we're now trying to do that weekly, which is really nice. But I also would love it if I could like keep this in my car or in my bag, and then be like, hey, do you want to play this game that actually does not require me to bring my PlayStation to another person's house?
Right. Yeah.
Because that's
which is
annoying.
That's a lot. Yes. That's a lot.
So yeah. So that's Fruit Fight. I'm excited to play the other ones.
Fruit Fight.
Yeah.
Fruit Fight.
And I've also been playing Avowed.
We'll come back to Avowed in a second. I want to talk about one game that I did not expect to play at all, which was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I did start playing that.
Excuse me. Wow. So you hate women? And black people?
I hate women. I'm not really so fond of like homosexuality or anyone that's not white. Sure. So I am playing this game.
What? I understand.
Because it just reflects my ideals, you know? I think Gamergate had a lot of interesting ideas.
Right.
I say so many things in jest that you could clip out.
That it's ruin my context. Life. Yeah, not for sure. But it's
I'm writing the post right now.
Yeah, here we go. No, so I picked this up because I saw a video of like a cutscene and the two guys who were the actors of the main thing, and they were so charming and funny together just in this like interview that I was like, oh, okay, that's not the vibe I got from this game. And so I started playing it, and like sure enough, it's actually a pretty well written and pretty funny and well acted like buddy story between you and this guy that you're protecting. And it'll be interesting. I'm only 3 hours into it, and I see things in it that I'm like, you can make choices that would be sad in this game. Yes. I will say that. But they want you to make choices that are basically like very positive masculinity. Like, I love my dog so much that I'm going to talk about, like, you start the game and bandits attack you when your friend is like, let's go sneak up on these girls that are doing their laundry in the river, and I'm going to like ask one of them out. And like, while you're doing that, bandits kill everyone in your party.
Oh.
And so, and you spend the first like 10 minutes of this game before that happens, like finding food for your dog. You were like, this is my dog Mutt, and I love him, and I'm going to like play this guy in a game of dice and like beat him so I can like bribe the cook to give me extra sausage so I can give it to my dog. It's like, I love my dog.
Yes.
And you open the menu, and it's like there's a map of what you can do with your dog. You can have your dog go fetch things. You have your dog protect you. You get every indication that your dog will never die in this game. And so I'm like, we're off to a great start because I love that. And at some point, the bandits kill everyone. And my first thought is, of course, what the fuck happened to the dog? And this is going to be am I about to turn this thing off like completely? Because if that happens, I'm fucking
the game's over.
You see this little like thing swimming across away from all the ruckus, and you go, "Oh fuck, was that the dog?" And then like you spend like an hour escaping these people that are trying to kill you, and then like you get shelter and all this stuff, and it's like pretty harrowing. And then in the morning, like your buddy is like, "We got to get to the castle," and you're just like, "Nope, I'm going to go find my dog." Yeah, and like if you, that's like the first like 3 hours of this game.
Great,
it's just
okay,
like, that's and I'm just like, and then you get to the castle, and like you're this your friend is this nobleman who is like, "I've got a message for the king. They should be expecting us." And instead, literally, they just dump a bucket of shit on him at the door. And it's really funny, actually. And it's like, there's just a lot of weird stuff. You have to keep yourself clean. If you're a stinky boy, no one will talk to you.
That's good.
So you have to like wash
teaching
yourself.
Them hygiene.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm not craved going back to this game like I have Avowed or even Monster Hunter. But I get why this has been a popular game. The sword fighting is not nearly as clunky and stupid looking as the videos would indicate it is. It kind of makes sense. But this is a game I did not expect to like at all, and I kind of get the appeal. I just don't know. I don't know where some of the stuff is going, and I'm concerned that it might not go in a fun direction, but we'll see. But that's a game.
Does one have gay romance?
I believe it. When I
they put in
read
gay?
about this, they put in gay.
I think
they put in some non-white people. Yeah,
they found them. That's good.
They found them. In history they found them. They were like they didn't exist in history, and then it's like, you know what? We did find them. It's weird. So yes, like a lot of this is still mostly the same team. So if you're like, I don't really feel like giving $70 to like ex Gamergators, like, well, I fucking get that like completely.
Mm-hmm.
But at least as far as the text of this game goes, it does not. It's not that. It's not that. It's kind of, yeah. But yeah,
I will admit that I am wrong, but I won't change my behavior.
You don't have to admit that you're wrong. You may be right. I might get 5 hours in this thing, and it's like, oh, okay, now we took a turn, and it's like, it's awful, you know. Wow, the king was
always talking. Oh, is it he's the
Henry?
creative director, I think.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I mean the shitty dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not the director of the game, but he's the director of the studio. I think that is
okay.
like,
oh, okay.
Yeah. Now who knows? They may have decided to not label him as director of the game for this reason. For sure. I just don't know. But yeah, I mean, I could get into it. And it's like, oh, the king was dead. Who killed the king? A group of women decided to do it, and they're unethical, you know, and you know, whatever. Who knows? Like, we could get there, and it could be really bad. But I'm also been playing Avowed. Niki, you and I are still playing Avowed a lot. I don't know if I have more to say about this game that we've already said, but I will say I did experience my first, I would say, quest-breaking bug in this game.
Oh, which one? On what quest?
So it is the quest basically where this dude has taken control over a lot of the lizard people. And made them docile, and they are controlled by some sort of magic. And you feel like maybe that's an ethical thing of like, you're controlling lizard people with magic. What's going on with that? So you're supposed to like do a back and forth, but when a big event happens, and Niki, you know what? It's the one that you tried to get me to prevent. It doesn't close that quest, but you cannot complete it. It'll keep the quest markers on forever.
I see.
And you go and you do some things in that area, and there's nothing there.
No, for sure. I think I can't tell, because I also have quests there, but I can't tell if that's a bug or if that's like, damn, you fucked up.
You fucked up. But it's like,
damn, you fucked up.
But they did eliminate some quests completely
Yes, that is also
log.
true. No, for sure.
So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yes. Who knows? Who can freaking say? I also don't have it. I don't think anything new. The game is like the one thing I guess is new is that now I'm getting into places where I'm like, I did not think that this was visually the way that this game was going to look. And like kind of it's happening back to back to back where I'm like, wow, this is pretty. Wow, this is really pretty in ways that are different and more fantastical than I think my brain is kind of envisioning these spaces to be. And I think a lot of I likened it to playing like Myst and Riven when I was a kid. Like there's a lot of that feeling to it of like, oh, I'm surprised at how fucking wild this looks or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And I think there is still part of my brain that is, which it's like, oh, I don't know anything about Pillars of Eternity. So probably if I knew anything about Pillars of Eternity, like none of this stuff would be particularly surprising to me. Yeah. But the fact that I have no idea means that every single location and every single way that they talk to people is like, oh man.
You're like a toddler. Like with
literally, yes. And I'm like
jingling keys. Yeah.
I'm smashing that fucking screenshot button on this Xbox more than I have in a really, really long time.
Same.
It's really good. I think I'm on the precipice of this chapter's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? Conversation, post Fior. So I'm in Scattersharp now and interact with the Thirdborn. And now that I made the mistake that I made at the end of the last chapter, I'm like very much like I am locked in. Like I am paying attention to the ways that people are talking to me and the things that they are giving me. So yeah, I'm excited to keep playing it.
Andrea, what was the last game you played that made you feel like, man, if I don't pay attention to like what's happening around me, I might make a really bad choice?
Oh God. Baldur's Gate 3, maybe?
Sure.
But then I just save scummed constantly.
Right.
There's that. Yeah.
I think Avowed is interesting that like it doesn't have the vibe of a save scum game until it
does. And then but then
like,
time.
No. I mean,
I haven't. And the reason why, and honestly, after the thing that happens in the end of the second,
I kind of let it happen. I'm like, okay.
I also was that, but I did try. But the only reason I didn't, and I think this is really smart. The last manual save was 2 hours prior. So it was like, do I lose 2 hours of progress? No, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Or do I just kind of live with the fact that the last time it saved was after the thing happened? And I'm like, well, that's just, it'd be like that sometimes, I guess.
The way the cookie crumbles.
I'll get them on the next playthrough if I do. So
how does saving work for this?
It does have quick saves and normal saves. And then there's the quick saves. You only get one quick slave slot.
Quick slave
slot. That's where the fastest one goes. Save slot.
No,
you only get one of them. You only get one, and then you can change the frequency from like anywhere between 1 and like 10 minutes. And I set mine to 5 minutes or whatever. So the amount of time I like could not. And then the last manual save I had made was 2 hours prior. The one thing I will say, and I wish that this was like more. I felt the same way about Starfield, very strangely enough.
Okay.
When you're playing these games on console, there needs to be a quick save button on the controller, the same way that you can set one of the F row keys on the keyboard to be quick save. And I don't know if it actually is like, I don't know where it is. I have an Elite controller. I feel like I should be able to go in and put one paddle on the back of that thing and then be like, this is the quick save button. I will pull this when I want to do a quick save. Or if it is like all of the D-pad is in use, but if it was like press and hold the D-pad, but like direction that you want to do this would feel probably good.
Clicking both sticks in at the same time.
Yes, like there are ways I think to get around this, but it is kind of shocking to me that no one has figured out on a console a quick button command to do a quick save in one of these kinds of games.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would actually probably make people's lives better.
Yeah. But we made choices and they came back to bite us, and now I guess I have to pay better attention. Yeah, a lot of people are dead. made a huge mistake. All right, let's we've been going for a while. Let's answer Hive questions and let's get out of here. Every single week, you can ask us Hive questions. Go to vgbs.com/join, and you can join the Hive for just $10 a month, and then you can come into our Discord and ask us questions every single week. We have a few good ones. In fact, we have like a very thoughtful one that I do want to ask probably last. But Lovic asking, are you still playing Marvel Snap? I think this is directed toward me. Either way, what's your favorite card? I am still playing Marvel Snap, Lovic. I'm not playing it. I'm not like going through the entirety of the battle pass now every single month. I'm getting about 75% through instead of completing it. So I'm playing it less. But my favorite card, I mean, I don't know. I like combos of cards. So like, I really like null decks, and null basically is like every single time you destroy something that gets added to your card. So it's a really powerful card to play last. And you can also do some like goofy defensive, like gotcha bullshit if someone else has like a destroy deck, which I like. I don't like move decks. That's my least favorite kind of deck, or like move decks, where you're moving stuff around on the thing. So that's my answer. I'm guessing neither of you play Marvel Snap.
No. I played it for a second when it came out.
Moving is fun. There are like different kinds of decks. There's like destroy, discard, move. There's like power gaining kind of meta, which you can do. A lot of the new cards are kind of interesting. Like Victoria Hand, like she gives buffs to cards that actually didn't start in your deck. So you can have like cards that like conjure cards, and those are basically more powerful. And so that's fun. But that game's good. It definitely took a hit. I mean, I definitely think that team took a big hit when the game was taken off the store for like,
I know for sure,
for like a month, which is crazy. They gave you a ton of shit when he came back, but it was still like,
the momentum
through no fault of their own, which is fucking crazy to me.
But the ban thing, right? It went off.
Yeah, it went off the same way TikTok did. Like they basically were part of that, and then TikTok actually got reinstated before Marvel Snap did, technically, which was just crazy. So I feel bad for them. I don't think they've still recovered, but it's still a really good game. I like it a lot. Jason asks, is ketchup a vegetable? What about pizza? Oh, Jason.
Next question.
That would have been a skip for you, Nikki.
That's a fucking skip. Next question.
Ketchup's
Jason,
not a vegetable.
Do better.
Ketchup's a fruit, if anything.
Oh my God, we can't indulge.
Okay, sorry, Jason.
Go to the Giant Bomb Quest with a question like that.
Wow. My Hero Zero asks, which would you rather play, Earthbound or Earth Defense Force 2017?
Oh, Earthbound.
Same, because I don't know anything about the other. So
the other one's the game where the bugs are really big and they destroy the city and you have to shoot.
It's like kind of an arcadey shooter.
I've seen that in okay.
You know what? My Hero Zero? I'm gonna say Earth Defense Force 2017, because you know what? Everyone that says they like Earthbound has never played it, and I'm gonna stick with that tradition and say, yeah. I love Earthbound. I've never played it, but I do love it. Yeah, so I'm gonna dissent and say Earth Defense Force 2017. This is a good one from Destructonaut. Do you think Avowed will be this year's Dragon's Dogma 2? Basically, a very good game that is met with mixed feelings and widely forgotten by the end of the year. Nikki, you said I hope
I
not.
accidentally replied to this one because I didn't realize that it was in the Hive questions.
No, it's okay.
I thought someone just saw it and I was like, no.
Nope.
I don't think so. I think that this game is better than Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah.
I think it does what it is trying to do better than Dragon's Dogma 2 does. I think it is much more interesting narratively than Dragon's Dogma 2. Whether or not it stays in our collective games journal craw to December, that's a completely fair question.
Its tail is already longer than Dragon's Dogma 2.
But that's the other thing, right? Because people are still picking it up and talking about it and playing it in a way that the appeal of Dragon's Dogma was about 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then the thing that happened with Dragon's Dogma is other games started coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Avowed came in at this weird time where nothing else is really coming out.
Yep.
Right now, that is that big. So I think people are actually able to play more of Avowed. I like to think that this is not the case, but it was not going to get anything nomination wise, I'm sure, for any of the major ones at the end of the year.
I mean, if it doesn't get nominated for Jeffy's, like, who gives a shit? But
no, for sure. But like,
I probably kind of agree. I mean, just looking at the rest of the year, you're probably right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll remember it.
The answer is I will remember it. But I also think it already has a longer tail. This is not everything, but Instagram and TikTok are talking about Avowed a lot more than they talked about Dragon's Dogma 2. Like, you're just seeing a lot more content from critics, from guides, writers, and content creators. Like, this is a more popular game than Dragon's Dogma 2.
It's also an easier game to understand than Dragon's Dogma 2.
It is. In fact, I like Dragon's Dogma 2, but Avowed is infinitely more accessible than
like Dragon's if you Dogma. Know what, if you played Skyrim, you get this one. And I think that there is not the only game that was kind of like Dragon's Dogma 2 was Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, the only one where you're climbing the side of a cow, like doing rotations and last question, Tim. With game, probably not for the pod, but I recently read this article about addiction in relation to video games. We didn't read the article, but with gameplay and flow state being put front and center with design, how do you feel with the ethics of games that want more of you? Which is, I think, a cool question. Hades was an example that he brought up.
Okay.
Yeah.
As want more of me in a way that's like, want me to engage more than falling into like what happens when a brain plays Marvel Rivals where you're not thinking about it. Is that what asks more is asking?
I think I look at Ask More like the way that people got really into Balatro or Hades, or let's use a live service game like Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, Final Fantasy XIV explicitly asks you to commit to it in a way that I think, a single player game would not. So I think we can use those too, like live service games as well.
Do you think like these idle games too? Because I literally asked something like this to Nat. I was like, I think I'm a bad person because I won't stop playing these. And she was like, what the hell? But no, I've started downloading all these little idle games on the side, and I just play them when I'm not doing anything. Or I could be working and I'll have 14 or something open on the other side. And it feels bad if I stop and look, because I'm like, I have to do all of these things at once to not have a thought.
Right. Yes.
And I don't know, like the feeling of productivity. Yeah. It feels harmless in passing, but now whenever I look at how much shit I have open on my desktop, so I can simulate being productive, it feels not good.
I think to answer the question, Tim, like, how do I deal with the ethics of games that want more of you? I think I have clear, hard lines about, like, if this is asking me to put money in it to progress very explicitly, that's something that I don't really mess with. And I also like Marvel Snap is a decent example, because you can take shortcuts to develop your collection, which is kind of like, a one number indicator of how much you've played the game. And you can spend real money to make that go a little bit faster. It doesn't like, you don't pay to win. These are kind of implicit, like intrinsic, implicit kind of like rewards for just like having this collection or whatever. It doesn't like help you win. But when people ask me like, it's a free to play game, so it's like, but is it super, is it super predatory? And my answer is kind of complicated. Like, I think it's something that's like, I think if you have that part of your brain that's that kind of dog whistles when you see a game go, hey, you could like spend $10 and gain 100 levels or whatever with your collection level. It doesn't help you win, but it does unlock different card variants and stuff like that. If you're really susceptible to that, then I think it's not. I mean, I think it is a predatory game. I think it's not good for you. And so it kind of depends on some of the mechanics. I think Hades being an example, I got to the point in that game where I did kind of stop and say, meaningfully, I think I've seen everything that this game has thrown at me, and I don't need to continue. I don't need to play through with every weapon. I don't need to play through the game 100 times or whatever to do all that shit. So I can kind of step away, but there are times where it is hard to step away, and it's hard to not spend money, and it's hard to deal with that. It's one of those things where I don't necessarily want those games to disappear or go away, but it is a thing where it's harder to recommend them to some people, I feel like. Yeah. If that makes sense.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the can I spend money to progress thing, because I seem to have no problem with time sink games, which I know can still be destructive in a way, but I had to put my foot down on gacha games because it was too easy. I had too many circumstances where I was like, I've had a bad day. I'm going to spend $10 and get a pull. I didn't get what I wanted. I'm going to do it again. Yes. And that becomes slippery slope really quick. I was hardcore into Genshin when it first came out, and still cool, have complicated feelings. But if I can give you money and I get thing for sure back, I'm okay.
Right. Yeah.
But if I give you money and I have no idea what I'm getting, never mind.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Were you a Suikoden player at all?
I played the second one when I was little, a little bit on PlayStation. It was on PlayStation.
Yeah. I was just curious because they announced a new game, but it's essentially a gacha game, and it's it's just it's frustrating. I mean, I think if you are a responsible person, responsible is not really the way I want to frame that. If you are someone who is not susceptible to extremely easy to fall into gotcha tactics and stuff, then maybe you're excited about this. But for me, it was immediately no, kind of a non-starter. Niki, who has been wrestling with their headphones for the last, Andrew and I did a pretty good job vamping, really. For about really 7 full minutes.
It felt like forever. The AirPods died, and then I went to my.
Oh no!
You know what? Here's my opportunity. Hold on. Where did I?
What's your opportunity?
I just had them. Oh, they're right here. Okay. A couple of months ago? ? Arctis sent me these Arctis Game Buds. They look like this. Okay. They're supposed to connect to my Xbox and my computer. I'm going to be honest, gang. Never got them connected to the Xbox. And most of the time when I try to connect them to the computer, they don't work. That's my review of your product.
So that's Niki's review.
And now I have to...
Niki.
Thanks. Anyway, I tried to connect them just now. Again. No, they won't. But also, gang, Bluetooth headphones. They didn't work.
Yeah.
No, I have nothing to add because I missed the whole context of the conversation.
That's okay. So. Don't worry about it. Thanks, Niki. It's fine. It's fine. Tim, that's a good question. Maybe we'll talk about it more in depth on a bonus or something. I think it's a good question to ask. There are some good articles I've read. There are some articles I don't fucking agree with. I got into an argument with someone back in November on Blue Sky about, saying Balatro is essentially the exact same thing as a slot machine, which made me so fucking angry I couldn't see straight. I'm not going to bring that energy to this conversation because I do understand kind of what people mean when they say that. Although I do think there are distinctions that make a true difference in that conversation. And that's not just because I think Balatro is great. I think you can absolutely argue that Balatro has some addiction adjacent, mechanical proclivities. So I understand that. But these are good questions. Papa Bear Zach asked us another question. We're going to skip it for now. Maybe I'll answer it on a bonus when I'm away this weekend in Austin for business. and we're going to get wrapped up here because we've been going for almost 2 hours. Which and also we started late. Later than we usually do. 5-star run times. That's us.
Always has.
Always has been. We are always consistent with our times. That's what everyone says about us. It's like we've never fired up a podcast and it shockingly is only 40 minutes and then we bail after. No, it happens a lot. Yeah, it is good. Andrea, this was a blast. Tell us, plug something. Tell us where to find you. All those things.
Yeah, you can follow me on almost at Twitter. You cannot. I'm never on there anymore. Blue Sky. Good for you. Though. Thank you. I'm on there as Majora. I got the name with
got
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. That's me. I am the Majora, mask and all. But you can find me on there. I write a lot now at PC Gamer. That's mostly where I'm at these days. But yeah.
Personal computer
gamer. That's right.
You shouldn't be able to play them on there, but I'll go to the website.
You are such a PC game hater. It's
me and Greg Miller agree on a handful of things, but his point where the computer is the worst place to play a video game, the most true he's ever been.
And you know what? Andrea doesn't agree with you because she loves her job so much.
No, you love your job at PC, personal computer gamer.
Personal computer gamer, yeah.
Personal computer gamer. Thanks so much for hanging out, Andrea. This was awesome. Niki, do you have anything to plug?
MakeYouThink.club. It's my newsletter. Thanks.
That's it.
Club.
MakeYouThink.club. It's a good newsletter. I read it every single week. And it's very good. And you can has everyone given Niki money for that? Because I did say I would come to your house and pull up your plants if you didn't. So let's take stock on that. Yep. I'm going to pull up your plants. Check. Okay. You can check how many. Yeah, give me the list of names. Just put them in a spreadsheet. I'll take care of it. Thank you.
Not all of you.
So get on that. All right. Yeah. Go to vgbs.com/join. Join the Hive, please. That would be great. I'm really trying to grow things. If you join the Hive, you can see my first kind of State of the Union piece that I put up in our Discord. I talk about how many subscribers we have and kind of my goals. I'm not going to say any of them here because you don't deserve them.
Wow.
But if you pay me, you do deserve them. But yeah, this is good. This is going to be a big year for us. I think we're really trying to grow stuff around here. And hopefully bring more writing to the website, which is something that's been sorely missing. So excited to grow this thing. Nothing else to really plug. You can go get Interstate 35 on Steam right now. It's a visual novel about North Texas in the end times. I didn't make it, but Julie Muncie did, and I published it, and it's great. We made it into Ludanaricon.
Ooh, hell yeah.
So at the beginning of May, it'll be on sale places, and also it'll be on the spring Steam sale soon. So you could go get it full price now and make me really happy, but you would still make me really happy if you bought it when it's on discount. So wow. Yeah, we've gone a long time. I've said a lot of things.
That's podcasting.
I think it's podcasting, you know? All right, let's get out of here. Until next time, keep on buzzing. Bye.